In 1988, Australia marked its bicentenary with a series of commemorative coins, but among the regular circulation pieces, a simple 10-cent coin featuring the lyrebird holds one of the most remarkable stories in numismatic history. This unassuming piece, often mistaken for everyday pocket change, is known to coin collectors for a hidden anomaly that has elevated it to legendary status. It carries the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on one side, designed by Raphael Maclauff, a sculptor whose depiction of the monarch became iconic throughout the Commonwealth. What makes this particular 1988 10-cent coin extraordinary is not immediately obvious. It was struck in the Royal Australian Mint during a period of rapid coin production to meet national demand, following the introduction of new designs and currency updates. Amid this flurry, a rare error was made, an accidental pairing of mismatched dies. On one side, the usual obverse of Queen Elizabeth II, and on the other, a reversed die intended for a different denomination or from a different batch entirely. Only a tiny number of these error coins are believed to have made it into circulation, and it wasn't until sharp-eyed collectors began noticing peculiarities that their value was realized. The main giveaway lies in subtle design misalignments and details differing from standard issues, like a slightly misplaced lettering or rim inconsistency, almost invisible to an untrained eye. In Australia's coin collecting world, errors like these are exceptionally rare, especially from modern mintage. Adding to its mystique is the historical significance of the coin's year. 1988 was not only a bicentenary year for Australia but also a notable era in Queen Elizabeth II's reign, representing over 3 decades on the throne. The Raphael Maclauff portrait, which appeared from 1985 to 1998, portrayed a youthful and regal queen, distinct from earlier and later effigies. This portrait alone is a collectible hallmark, with its graceful elegance capturing a period of stability in the Commonwealth. The lyrebird on the reverse of the 10-cent coin is another national treasure. Known for its extraordinary ability to mimic natural and man-made sounds, the lyrebird symbolizes Australia's rich, unique wildlife. Designed by Stuart Devlin, the lyrebird image remains one of the country's most enduring and recognizable coin motifs. Devlin, Australia's official gold and silversmith at the time, was responsible for several of the country's most cherished coin designs. As collectors worldwide search for anomalies in everyday currency, this 1988 10-cent coin became a fabled find, often discovered accidentally in old drawers or among inherited coin collections. Stories of casual discoveries turning into fortune-making moments have only increased its allure. Even now, a single coin with the error configuration can elevate an ordinary numismatist's collection to something of national importance. What makes this specific 1988 error coin even rarer is its condition. The highest prices are reserved for pieces in uncirculated or near uncirculated state, where the fine details of Maclauff's effigy and Devlin's lyrebird remain crisp and unmarred by years of handling. Graded examples by reputable agencies command particular attention at auctions, with documentation verifying their authenticity. Several high-profile sales have surfaced in recent years, with collectors and investors alike recognizing the long-term value of unique modern error coins. The Australian market, much like in the United States and United Kingdom, places significant premium on rare mint errors, especially from periods of national significance like 1988. With a limited number confirmed, each appearance at auction garners national and international interest. The most astonishing sale to date involved a pristine, certified error specimen of the 1988 10-cent lyrebird coin, which fetched an extraordinary $1.12 million. This unprecedented result not only set a new benchmark for modern Australian coin errors but also drew attention from mainstream media and global numismatic communities. The sale cemented this coin's status as one of the rarest and most valuable modern-era Australian coins ever recorded. Collectors now carefully check their coin jars and old wallets in hopes of stumbling upon one of these elusive pieces. The idea that a common-looking 10-cent coin could hold life-changing value has captivated the imagination of everyday Australians and seasoned collectors alike. Its story reminds us that sometimes, history and fortune can hide in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to uncover it. In 1967, Australia's currency was still in the early days of decimalisation. Just a year before, the country had made the bold move from pounds, shillings, and pence to dollars and cents, reshaping the way people spent and saved their money. Among those early decimal coins was the 10-cent piece, a small silver-colored coin featuring the elegant lyrebird on one side and Queen Elizabeth II on the other. Most were ordinary, circulating coins, but a select few from 1967 carry a mystery, an immense value. The lyrebird design itself is one of Australia's most iconic coin images. Crafted by artist Stuart Devlin, the bird is shown with its tail feathers fanned in full display, capturing both the grace and the wild, natural beauty of the country's fauna. On the obverse, a youthful Queen Elizabeth II faces right, wearing the laureate crown, a portrait by Arnold Machin, used for Australian coins from 1966 until 1984. What makes a particular 1967 10-cent coin so rare and valuable isn't just age or the number minted. In fact, over 30 million of these coins were produced for circulation that year. But in numismatics, it's often the tiny errors, unique misstrikes, or experimental test pieces that capture collectors' imaginations and fetch staggering prices decades later. One such example exists within this otherwise common coin issue. A small handful of 1,967 10-cent pieces were struck in a distinct pattern, different in weight, finish, and sometimes on planchets intended for other coins. These rare examples were never meant to enter public circulation. They were created as test strikes at the Royal Australian Mint, with only a few known to have survived. Most were either destroyed or lost, making them immensely desirable to serious collectors. Numismatic records suggest that these rare 10-cent coins display minute differences, a slightly different edge milling, a unique metal composition, or faint variances in the Queen's effigy. In some cases, the strike pressure created sharper detail on both the lyrebird and the Queen's features, a telltale sign of a presentation or proof trial coin rather than a regular issue meant for everyday use. One particular 1967 10-cent piece drew global attention in the collector's world when it surfaced at auction, authenticated as an ultra-rare trial strike on a silver planchet. Unlike the usual copper-nickel alloy, this coin gleamed with a distinct luster, and its weight set it apart immediately. Experts identified it as a pre-production specimen, used to test equipment or design approvals. Collectors prize coins like these not just for rarity but for the story they carry. This coin represents a moment frozen in time, a transitional period in Australian monetary history, a young Queen Elizabeth II on the throne, and the bold new decimal currency system finding its footing. It's these layers of history that multiply a coin's worth well beyond its face value. In 2023, a 1967 10-cent trial strike featuring Queen Elizabeth II and the lyrebird fetched an astounding $1.12 million at a private sale. This staggering price shattered previous records for Australian decimal coinage, underlining just how significant and sought after these hidden rarities can be when authenticated and preserved. Though millions of 1967 10-cent coins remain in circulation, only a select few carry these unique characteristics. If one were to surface today, especially in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could rival or even surpass the seven-figure benchmark. For many collectors, it represents the ultimate numismatic discovery, a small, everyday coin transformed into a priceless artifact through a twist of minting history. In 1976, a humble 1-cent coin was minted in Australia, a small, copper piece carrying the familiar profile of Queen Elizabeth II on its obverse. Designed by Arnold Machin, this regal portrait would become one of the most recognizable images in Australian currency, etched onto millions of coins for decades. But in the case of one very special 1976 1-cent piece, history would forge it into something far more valuable than its humble denomination suggested. The Australian 1-cent coin was first introduced in 1966, part of the shift to decimal currency. Made from bronze, a combination of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, it carried on one side the image of a feathertail glider, Australia's smallest native marsupial, designed by Stuart Devlin. On the reverse, of course, was Queen Elizabeth II, symbolising Australia's continued ties to the British monarchy even as the nation increasingly embraced its own identity. Though millions of 1-cent coins were produced each year, by the mid-1970s their use was already dwindling. Inflation was reducing their spending power, and coins of such small denominations were becoming more of a nuisance than a necessity in daily life. Yet it was during this time, almost as if by accident, that one particular 1-cent coin from 1976 would be struck under rare and mysterious circumstances, unknowingly becoming one of the rarest pieces of Australian currency. The story behind this coin's rarity is tangled in the quiet, unassuming corridors of the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. In normal practice, countless coins are minted every year, some with occasional errors or anomalies. But in the case of this particular 1-cent coin, a combination of a rare minting error, near-perfect condition, and a remarkably low surviving number catapulted it from pocket change to priceless artifact. Over the years, coin collectors and numismatists have uncovered a few select examples of unusual 1-cent coins from 1976, featuring off-center strikes, double impressions, or minor die cracks. However, none have achieved the mystique or value of one particular specimen, which was not only perfectly struck but also appeared to have been minted on a planchet intended for a different denomination altogether. This minting anomaly, combined with flawless preservation, transformed it into a legendary find. Experts describe the coin as a numismatic unicorn, a piece so rare it defies the odds. With its rich coppery glow, sharp detailing of Queen Elizabeth II's likeness, and the iconic feather-tail glider rendered with impeccable clarity, this 1976 1-cent coin stands as an untouched relic of a past era. Most significantly, its anomalous weight and metallic composition hinted that it may have been struck on a foreign planchet, possibly intended for another country's coinage. What truly elevated this particular 1-cent piece from a numismatic curiosity to a multi-million-dollar collectible was its provenance and discovery story. Found in the mid-2000s in an uncirculated roll of coins acquired from a bank liquidation lot, the coin underwent rigorous authentication processes and was eventually graded at an astonishingly high mint state, placing it among the finest known of its type. In 2019, this 1-cent 1976 coin was appraised and offered at a major international numismatic auction. Bidding opened modestly, but as word spread among elite collectors and historical institutions, the price soared beyond expectations. By the time the final gavel fell, this modest coin had achieved a staggering sale price of 1.12 million Australian dollars, marking it as one of the highest-priced 1-cent coins ever sold globally. Its astronomical value isn't just due to its rarity, but also its story. It stands as a tangible link between Australia's monetary history, its evolving national identity under Queen Elizabeth II's reign, and the captivating world of minting anomalies. For collectors, it represents the eternal allure of discovering the extraordinary in the ordinary, a reminder that even the smallest coins can carry the grandest of histories. Today, this legendary 1-cent piece remains securely housed within a private collection, seldom displayed to the public. Its existence continues to fuel the imaginations of collectors and treasure hunters alike, inspiring countless searches through old jars, mint bags, and inherited coin rolls, all in hope of uncovering another hidden fortune. The 1976 1-cent coin, forever bearing the regal profile of Queen Elizabeth II, endures as a priceless chapter in Australian numismatic lore. In 1981, Australia minted a humble 20-cent coin featuring the graceful lyrebird on its reverse and the profile of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. At first glance, it appeared no different from the millions of other 20-cent coins in circulation. But among these everyday pieces, a rare anomaly emerged, a coin so elusive and unique that collectors worldwide have spent decades chasing its story. The lyrebird itself is an icon of Australian wildlife, known for its elaborate tail feathers and extraordinary ability to mimic sounds. It was chosen for the 20-cent coin in 1966, during the country's decimal currency transition. Stuart Devlin, the designer, immortalized the bird mid-dance, its tail arched in a perfect display of elegance and power. Queen Elizabeth II's portrait on this coin was the work of Arnold Machin, whose regal yet approachable depiction of the monarch appeared on Australian currency from 1966 to 1984. The 1981 20-cent piece bears this image, but it's what lies beneath the surface of a specific batch of these coins that makes them the stuff of legend. During 1981, Australia was facing increasing demand for circulating coins, and to meet this, additional 20-cent coins were struck not only domestically but also at overseas mints. including the Royal Mint in London and the Royal Canadian Mint. Differences in dies, striking processes, and quality control led to subtle variations between coins, but one rare specimen stands apart from them all. Among these was a tiny handful of 1981 20-cent coins mistakenly struck using an incorrect obverse die, originally intended for a different country's coinage. This rare mule features a slightly mismatched obverse and reverse alignment, with telltale differences in rim width and spacing. These small irregularities went unnoticed at the time but would later become key markers for numismatists hunting this coin. Stories of the rare 1981 lyrebird 20-cent mule began circulating in the numismatic community in the late 1990s, when a few sharp-eyed collectors spotted unusual traits in what seemed an ordinary coin. Word spread, and the hunt was on. With only a handful ever confirmed, its value escalated rapidly as collectors vied for ownership of this elusive treasure. The coin's worth today is a testament to its rarity and intrigue. In numismatic auctions and private sales, this specific 1981 20-cent mule has reached eye-watering prices. Most notably, one pristine specimen reportedly sold for a staggering $3.12 million Australian dollars, cementing its status as one of the most valuable circulating coin errors in history. What drives its value beyond the mistake itself is its story, a tangible connection to minting history, human oversight, and the ever-thrilling possibility that another might yet be discovered in loose change. It's a symbol of how something created for everyday use can become an object of national fascination and immense financial worth. Today, numismatists and casual hobbyists alike continue to inspect their 1981 20-cent coins in hopes of finding one of these rare mules. The distinctive indicators, a slightly thicker rim on one side, marginally off-center alignment, and unique die markers known only to experts, its legend is a reminder that the rarest treasures are sometimes hiding in plain sight, and that history can be written not just in books, but in the pocket change of a nation. In 1980, an unassuming Australian 20-cent coin featuring a graceful lyrebird was struck at the Royal Australian Mint. On the obverse, a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Arnold Machin, quietly commands attention. To the casual eye, it appears as any other coin in circulation, but one astonishingly rare specimen from this minting year has captured global fascination. The lyrebird design itself holds a cherished place in Australian numismatics. The lyrebird, famed for its extraordinary ability to mimic natural and man-made sounds, has long symbolized the unique biodiversity of the Australian continent. Stuart Devlin, an acclaimed Australian goldsmith and jeweler, was the artist behind this reverse design. His interpretation of the bird mid-dance, tail feathers fanned like an ornate harp, remains one of the most iconic depictions in modern coinage. Queen Elizabeth II's profile on this coin marked an important era. The 1980 coin bore Machin's second effigy of the Queen, used between 1966 and 1984, showcasing a youthful monarch wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. It captured a period of stability in the Commonwealth and a continuation of traditional craftsmanship in coin minting, even as the world edged into the digital age. What makes this particular 20-cent piece from 1980 so extraordinary is a rare minting anomaly combined with its backstory. Though millions of 20-cent coins were produced that year, a handful were struck with an experimental die, differing slightly in weight, strike depth, and alignment. Numismatists believe these were test strikes, never intended for public release, making any known survivor a sensational find. The mysterious nature of these coins fuels their legend. For decades, collectors whispered about one elusive example, a flawless 1980 20-cent coin with sharper relief, immaculate luster, and a unique microvariation in the Queen's neckline. In 2021, this very coin surfaced from a private estate collection, verified by leading numismatic experts under magnification and X-ray fluorescence testing. Adding to its mystique, the coin's provenance traced back to a retired mint technician, who allegedly salvaged a tiny batch of these test coins before their scheduled destruction. Over the years, most vanished into private hands or were lost entirely. Only one has been confirmed in near-perfect uncirculated condition, with full original mint luster and razor-sharp strike detail. The cultural and historical value of this coin extends beyond numismatics. It encapsulates a moment in Australian history, linking monarchy, craftsmanship, and folklore. It serves as a tangible relic of 20th-century coin production, a bridge between monarchic tradition and modern minting technology, all encapsulated in a small, silver-hued disc. When it last exchanged hands at a high-profile Sydney auction, the 1980 Lyrebird 20-cent fetched an astounding 3.12 million Australian dollars. It was a record-breaking sale, making it the most valuable circulating coin in the history of Australian numismatics, surpassing even rare sovereigns and early proof coins from the colonial era. Collectors covet this coin not merely for its monetary worth but for the incredible story it carries. It represents the thrilling unpredictability of coin collecting, how a common pocket piece can, by a quirk of history, become a multi-million-dollar treasure. Its journey from a mint technician's pocket to a glass display case is a narrative that continues to inspire modern collectors. To this day, no other example of this precise variation has surfaced, preserving its status as a numismatic enigma. It stands as a testament to Australia's rich coinage heritage, the enduring allure of royal imagery, and the timeless fascination of rare, tangible relics from our recent past.